Hello and welcome to this Be Smart About Art show. My name is Susan J. Mumford. I'm delighted to be hosting you this evening as ever. Now, the Sunday edition focuses now on our revised program that we run from Sunday to Thursday each week. It's 15-minute segments each. We've changed the Sunday session to talk about green shoots, because what we've realized is that there are indeed continual green shoots coming up in so many different ways in this whole new world that we're living in. And whether it's like what we saw last Sunday, which was looking at the son of a friend who is now baking sourdough bread. He would otherwise be at university not baking bread. Myself producing the first salad from my own garden. To this week looking at video conferencing tools, because guess what? There's suddenly a great need for video conferencing for so many reasons, not only a Facebook show, for example, but it could also be that maybe like my father meeting with some friends on a Friday evening for a virtual happy hour. I mean, you've got socializing, you've also got professional reasons. People might be attending courses. You could be catching up with a friend. So what's the right solution for you? Today in the Be Smart About Art show, I am going to be providing you some highlights. This is a printout of an article that, here we are, was published in USA Today. That's usatoday.com. And the author for this piece is Jessica Guin. And Jessica talks about some of the options and some of the changes that we're seeing. So what I'm going to do, I mean, there's a bit of a noise happening today on the green screen, which I've never seen happen before. It's a nice professional one, so a bit unusual. So I'm going to read some of this and then pick out some highlights for you, because I do think you will appreciate what she has to say about this. From virtual cocktail hours to online classrooms, the COVID-19 pandemic has turned Zoom into everyone's go-to social network. And I'm indeed recording on Zoom and then streaming onto Facebook. And then we can download the Zoom, is it a .mov, .mp3? I don't remember, file. And then we can upload to YouTube and any other platform that we want to. Now Facebook wants to kick the video conferencing interloper off its turf. That's not very surprising, is it now? Now, something I'm going to add here is that you see sometimes new words come out of these kind of crazy changing times. Not that anyone alive today has lived through a pandemic like this one. There's a word that I've been seeing, which is not zombie, it's zombie. So are you a zombie? I think that that's probably a hashtag out there. So and this was published on April 24th, and this is saying, on Friday it's rolling out a new video chat product called Messenger Rooms. So you can, sound like Zoom Rooms, anyone? So you can hang out with up to 50 people at a time with no time limit. Now, I was initially thinking, gosh, I can immediately see their issues here, like what if you're not friends with people on Facebook? You may not want to be. Different people have different policies on, say, who they're quote unquote friends with or not on Facebook. Some people don't even use Facebook that much. So how would that work for somebody who isn't, say, on Facebook at all? Rooms can be created from Messenger or Facebook, and you can invite anyone to join, even if they don't have a Facebook account. There you go. Eventually, Rooms will be available on Instagram, as it's owned by Facebook, WhatsApp, owned by Facebook, and the Facebook Portal Smart Speaker too. Now, this is bearing in mind, interestingly, that I have read just over the weekend. I'm always keeping up on technology, what's happening in the world, that apparently many more users are happy with Facebook than were previously. And indeed, Facebook has been making some very clear, conscious strides to support people in this pandemic. And so I think this is probably quite a good time for them to be rolling out this feature to support people in this pandemic. Although, are they really just trying to get some business? You could read it either way. And I'm not making a comment either way on that one. Facebook and its family of apps have become an even more crucial communications lifeline for hundreds of millions of people sheltering at home, desperate to stay in touch with relatives and friends, even as the pandemic keeps them apart. And have you come across the word shielding? Shielding was not being used, so far as I was aware, certainly, say 5 weeks ago, when we were first in lockdown in the UK, and as we were seeing lots of North America locking down as well. Now we hear shielding as one example. So you might be shielding if somebody in your household is vulnerable. And so if you're shielding, that means that you're not even going out to the supermarket or grocery store to pick up your groceries. You're relying on other people bringing you what you need. And here we go. This is something that Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said on Friday. The ability to feel like you are directly connected with someone live over video, and then it adds, is essential to maintaining that togetherness. It's incredibly important. It's an incredibly important way people are relying on to stay connected right now. And in fact, I was reading the story of a New Jersey nurse who, when she gets back from her shift, she ends up kind of just letting things go, and she will speak with her sister. And I was thinking, gosh, she was talking about her husband and her sister, and I was thinking, are they all living in this house together? That I'm not quite sure. And it turns out that the sister is 1,200 miles away, and it was only later in this very, very fantastic, this great article that this nurse wrote, that she said, oh, and that's all by live conferencing. So who knows what platform she's using for that. The group video chat feature was already in the works before the coronavirus, but Facebook sped up development as the volume of video calls and group video calls on its apps skyrocketed, not surprising. And that was told by Stan Chudnovsky, and he's the vice president of Messenger. That's what he told USA Today, who again wrote this article. And it's interesting to see how people are using different platforms. I recently discovered that you can use, I'm sure a lot of the viewers know this, you can use Instagram if you go into direct messages, and they've got a video calling feature. It works differently from how some other ones work, but it does actually work. And this is presenting some, in this USA Today piece, some Zoom alternatives. And this is what I wanted to get to, is starting then to break down what are some other options. So in addition to this new Facebook Messenger Room app, you've also got Hangouts, that's Google Hangouts. You've also got Skype, and you've got Teams, and Teams is Microsoft. I think that's Microsoft Office 365 who does Teams. I'm not 100% about that, but it's all part of the Microsoft family. And one thing that people have been talking about, of course, is the safety of using Zoom. That's a big issue that they've had, is say there have been people Zoom bombing, where they have found out maybe the meeting ID for a call, they've jumped in, and some people have been showing porn. It's been really, really uncomfortable. So it's been important that we go, right, there are some alternatives. I still continue to use Zoom. I've been using Zoom for probably a good 3 or 4 years. However, we do need options in the marketplace. So carrying on, looking at this, I thought it was very interesting to read that the Rooms service that's in Facebook is free, and Facebook says it has no plans to place ads on it or to make money from it. Would it surprise me if that happens down the road? I presume they're talking about this point in time. They're just wanting to support their users and potentially get some goodwill as well, because they have been struggling in the last couple of years. And I was interested to read this, that in the Messenger mobile app, you can use augmented reality effects like bunny ears or aliens, 360-degree and immersive backgrounds. So think about somebody being on the beach or being in a royal palace or something, and mood lighting. And there is one actually I haven't mentioned yet, and that is House Party. I feel like there's actually something else. Oh, FaceTime, of course. I was actually just FaceTiming with my father right before joining you here today. So this is all really important to think, what are your options? So do check out this article that, again, is by Jessica, again, on GUYN, and that is in USA Today. This is showing some different options as I've been covering this too. And interestingly, this article does finish up saying new features coming to Facebook Dating, Facebook Live, and Instagram too. So what this says to me is that essentially a green shoot that we're seeing right now from a connectivity point of view is it's green shoots of how you can connect with people who are not actually physically present with you. So we're already, here we are only 5 weeks or so into the lockdowns, and we're seeing some really rapid changes. I mean, I know, for example, that one of my companies, I'm an entrepreneur in the art market, had a membership platform that was in the works, and we rushed it through in order to satisfy members to be able to upload their own profiles, for new members to be able to apply in the platform, to enable existing members to pay monthly for their subscriptions instead of maybe annually. And this, to me, is another example of a green shoot, in that these companies, Facebook already had that in the works, and they have really rushed through getting that live because people are needing alternatives right now. And I have to say, what we all need to do is to keep on top of our various inboxes. You don't only have your email accounts, you also have your various social media accounts, and now people might be calling each other as well. And I'm going to leave you with something to ponder, and that is the etiquette around video calling people and asking a question of, is it generational? And I think that I should bring this up in one of our probably weekday Be Smart About Art show episodes in the coming weeks or months. And so here's the thing. I was in one of my several Facebook groups for speakers just last week, and one of the speakers went, this is annoying. People personally are just video calling me, and I wasn't expecting it, and they're just calling me, and wasn't very happy about it and thought it was rude. And I saw this post and I thought, isn't that interesting? I know that I personally, I'm a Xennial, so I'm technically speaking a Gen Xer, although I'm right on the cusp of being a millennial. And so therefore there's a generation of about 4 or 5 years, a little in-between generation known as Xennials. I think it's Xennial, if I remember correctly. And so we're known to have our feet in both camps, the analog and the digital worlds. To be honest, I just think it's funny and quite amusing. And I think it's much more about mindset than anything. But still, like I said, good fun. So myself, embracing that Xennial sort of personality or what have you, I commented and I said, I think that that's a generational comment, and that yes, you might be getting some personal video calls without preparing in advance, without saying, hey, I'm going to call you in a minute, or I'm going to call you in 5 minutes, or is it a good time to call? And you're going to see this more in business down the road as well. Get ready for the future. So that's my take on where we're headed when it comes to video calls. So I am proud of myself today. When I spoke with my father, I didn't today message him in advance and check if it was a good time. I just called, and it was amazing, and it worked really well. What that meant was I was walking in the glorious town of Lewis in East Sussex, where I live, and I was able to show him around this scenic, beautiful walk. You saw some of the river, you saw some really old houses. I mean, it was just completely stunning. So that was really a pleasure, and it was the result of overcoming a hurdle, which is arguably generational. So I guess that was the millennial that I almost have inside of me coming through and saying, Susan, you can just press call. And I did. So what do you think? Do you find it a challenge just to video call somebody? And when do you think that we might actually start to also see that in business life? Are you already seeing it? I mean, think about, say, you have got a collector who is interested in buying a piece. Imagine just pressing a video call and saying, hey, Deborah, how's it going? And having a chat with that person who's interested in buying something. Bit of a different world. And I would say that we are fast forwarding towards that world much more quickly right now because of COVID-19 and the way that this whole pandemic is forcing all of us to enter a new phase. And thankfully, we are lucky enough to have this technology that enables us to connect with people all over the world. Everyone, it's been a pleasure to have you as ever on the Be Smart About Art show. Tomorrow, the Monday edition, I'll be telling you all about the art world this week and what's happening. So there are always things happening. Please go over to our Facebook page and check the events to see what is happening. And then on Tuesday, we'll be talking about boosting your art business. On Wednesday, we'll be doing Be Smart About Art question time. And then on Thursday will be the storytelling session. Be sure to check out the BSAA members community over at patreon.com/besmart-about-art. Our membership is vital to supporting our work, and furthermore, that's where you can connect individually with professionals in the art world and dive into our member masterclass that takes place each and every week on a Thursday. You can also access replays from previous editions, and you get access to partnership benefits and much more. Everyone, it's been a pleasure as ever, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the weeks and months to come. Here's to participating, connecting, and growing personally and professionally, and to thriving in this ever-changing art world. We're keeping it simple and we're keeping it supportive throughout the pandemic, and we're here as ever to support the journey. See you next time.